Yeah, it's Isaac. It's Tiana. We bringing truth in the mix where the real stories sit. Under no conditions. You know how we do. Feel that beat, let it pull you through.
Yo, we sitting here, mic in hand, talking about life. You know we got a plan from heartbreaks to laughter, real and uncut. Every conversation straight from the gut. Isaac bringing wisdom with a flair to wise. Tiana with the humor, watch the truth arise. Pull up a chair, let's get real close. In this podcast, we bringing you the most.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? This your boy Isaac, aka the Ice Man of the Under No Conditions podcast. Tiana, she is running a little late. Hopefully, she'll join us pretty soon. I'm gonna get right to it. I want to ask you guys something. What is the one skill, if you had to master, or a skill that you think that you really need to improve on? What would it be? I'm gonna give you a minute to think about that. All right. For me, the one skill that I always have to practice and adjust to is life. The skill of adjusting to life every day. How to navigate, how to move, how to pivot, how to stay still, understanding when to move, knowing when to move, knowing how to move, knowing what to say, knowing what not to say. All these things that for me, my everyday lifestyle, I have to learn how to pivot and pivot discreetly, even when I don't want to. Because life will throw you so many challenges. It would throw you so many wrenches and hammers and screwdrivers. And sometimes life can be very overwhelming. Unfortunately, this is what life is, especially when you become an adult. And I always, have an opportunity to think about, my life now and my life as a child. And I remember growing up, and I used to always say to my parents, man, I can't wait to get old enough so I could do what I want to do. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I want to take that back because when you become adult, you don't always have the opportunity or the pleasures to do what you want to do because now here comes the responsibility and here comes life. Now, I understood, what my mom and my dad used to always tell me, boy, you need to stay a child and a teenager as long as you can. And I wish I would have taken their advice and stayed a teenager as long as I should have. But now Isaac wanted to step out to, this big world and not knowing too much and thinking that he knew everything. And I had to learn how to adjust to living life on life terms. I had to learn how to accept no. I had to learn how to meet people where they are. I had to learn how to meet myself where I am. I had to learn how to just see things for what they is. I had to learn how to when to ask a question and when to keep my mouth closed. I had to learn that silence is golden. I had to learn that no is necessary because yes, it's expensive. Like I had to learn all these things, and many times they just don't come when you want them to come. Most of the time, they come after a mistake or a bad decision or a life tragedy. Let's look at it: a death, a sickness, you lose your job, your relationship is in shambles, your kids are giving you a hard time, your relationships with your peers aren't as easygoing or as steady as you would like for them to be. All those things are going to happen when you're living on life terms. However, learning how to pivot and learning how to adjust is a whole different skill. So Tonight, I'm going to talk about how I continue to learn how to adjust when life becomes overwhelming or life doesn't meet the needs of my belief system. And one of the things that I've had to learn how to do every day, all day, is know how I'm feeling in any situation. When I wake up in the morning, I check my emotions. When I'm driving, I'm checking my emotions. When I get to the job, I'm always asking myself, Isaac, how are you feeling? And if I'm not feeling as comfortable as I want to ask myself, the next question that I ask me is, why are you feeling this way? And that's when the accountability and the honesty really comes forth and it comes to play. Because now I'm honing the responsibility and I'm putting the responsibility on me. I'm not pointing the finger at anybody. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not looking at anybody to be the scapegoat of whatever I'm feeling and whatever I'm going through at that time. Two, I've learned how to sit still in silence. When it's chaos, when things are not going too right, when things are not going the way I wanted to go, when life is really lifing and it becomes overwhelming, the one thing I've learned how to do is sit still and make no decision. How about that? I make no decision. I may have to sit still, not just for 5 minutes. I may have to sit still for days before I make a decision. And when I make that decision, the one thing that I make sure that I do is I don't make that decision out of my emotions. I always want to make a logical decision because what I've learned is every decision that I make in my life, it does not just affect me. It don't affect me. It affect many people that surround me, not just my family, even in my professional role. Sometimes I have to make decisions for other people when they don't have the emotional capacity to make decisions. And even in that process, I always run it by somebody. Three, I have developed a network of individuals. I've put them in my life, some people that I can trust that's going to tell me the truth. I don't want nobody telling me what I want to hear. Tell me the truth. Don't care about my feelings. Don't worry about how I'm going to feel after. Let me handle that. However, I need you to be honest with me and tell me the truth. And for an example, my lady, she don't have no problem hurting my feelings. She will tell me the truth regardless of how I feel. And what I've learned to do in that process is guess what? I sit in it. I sit still because that's one person that I know got my best interest. And you got to surround yourself. I got a couple of peers that I've been knowing for over 15 years. When I pick up the phone and I call them, they tell me the truth. They allow me not only to look at the situation, they also allow me to look at myself. And that's the one thing I appreciate about having a network around me that's going to be honest with me and tell me the truth versus having a network around me that makes me a convenience. I make everybody feel good. I make everybody happy. I want to make sure everybody got the thing that they need. And guess what? And forgetting about myself. I don't want to be around people that's going to tell me what I want to hear. Because what I've learned eventually that goes dry and it goes south. And if you're not careful, it can get ugly. My fourth thing for me, I pay attention. I have learned how to listen not to just what's being said, but I also learned how to listen to what's not being said. This allows me to pivot and adjust accordingly with anybody that comes into my life. This has been one of the best skills that I continue to adapt and adjust because guess what? It keeps me safe. I'm at a point in my life, I'm not concerned about how big my circle is or who's in my network. I'm more concerned about being at peace, being able to adjust, have some people in my life that's honest, that's going to tell me the truth, and it's going to keep me safe. And I've learned how to keep myself safe. Sometimes I'm so good at just staying out the way, you don't even know I'm in the way. To be honest with you, I've had to learn that skill. And guess what? In learning those skills and continue to adapt in the process, guess what? It hasn't always been easy. It hasn't always been, you know, a bunch of cotton candy. I've had many frustrations. I've had many losses. I have many failures. I continue to fail. Let me tell you something about failure, right? Failure will do two things. If you're not careful, you can allow failure keep you in the same place, or you can allow failure to build character. See, sometimes failure is not about the failure. So many times it's really about the lesson. It's not about the lesson of the other person. It's about the lesson that's associated with my belief system. I want to ask you guys a question. Have you ever got mad or frustrated at a person that you've seen pivot or have made a decision to put them first when you felt like your feelings and what you was going through was more important? I want you to answer that. I have. Have you ever been around a person that you feel like no matter what you're saying, they don't view what you view the same way? I have. They're not supposed to. And those are the type of people you need in your life. You need people in your life to be able to question how you thinking, why you thinking it, and what is the reason that you thinking. Because those skills would allow you to adjust in life. It's like making a mistake. You make one mistake, you learn from it. 8 out of 10 times, you might not make that mistake before. But sometimes individuals are so caught up in their own belief system that they feel like they can make the mistake differently and the results are going to be the same. And 10 out of 10 times, those results are going to be the same results. They're going to be the same results. And sometimes for some people, they're going to have to keep bumping their head and they're going to have to keep bumping their head until they figure out that what they've been doing has not been working. Guess what? I am one of those individuals. I bumped my head for a long time. I've made the same mistakes. People trying to tell me, you can't tell me nothing. I didn't adjust well. I didn't learn how to pivot. I wasn't a good listener. I wasn't a good communicator. I was all those things. And people that love me more than I love myself, they will watch me bump my head. And I would get mad at them for watching me fail. How about that? They would watch me fail and see me fail. And they would never tell me, I told you so. They would just look at me. And you know what they would tell me? Oh, you're gonna be all right. And that used to piss me off. What you mean I'm gonna be all right? Yeah, you're gonna be just fine. You'll get it. You'll be fine. You'll get it. And for a long time, I didn't understand that. And it was really about being able to adjust and pivot and look at the lesson and look at the mistake and ask myself, what did I learn not only from the mistake, but what did I learn about me? What did I learn about my thinking and what I believed that what I did was going to work out the way that it didn't work out? So being able to pivot, being able to adjust, being able to sit still, and being able to be quiet, it is a learned skill. However, you have to have people and situations in your life that you have to embrace. Negativity, for me, is not a bad thing. When I see somebody doing something and I see the results of what they're doing, you know what I tell myself today? Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't even want to be involved in any of that. And I've learned to take other people's mistakes and apply them to me and my life, so that when a situation come up, I can subconsciously be like, oh, I know what that looked like. I've seen that before. Such and such made the same mistake. Now, you know what? Let me sit still on this situation, because in adjusting and pivoting and sitting still, guess what? You gotta be first. Many people, especially the type of work I do, selfishness is a real thing. And sometimes people feel like being selfish is the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do when you're making the right decisions for the right reasons. Selfishness becomes harmful when you not only selfish, however, you continue to hurt yourself and you continue to hurt the people that's around you, right? Life has many lessons that you can learn from, and life has many lessons that you can look at and be like, okay, because there's going to be times in your life where you're going to have to maybe give up something. You're going to have to give up something and really understand the power of what you got to give up. And sometimes the thing that you give up in learning how to adjust and pivot, you will realize after a while, you don't even miss it. It becomes an afterthought. So I want you to think about when life gets tough and life becomes overwhelming. Ask yourself why. Because sometimes life becomes overwhelming and it becomes too much because you don't make the decisions to sit still, adjust, pivot, and learn. Even with me, I make some of the same mistakes, but every mistake I learn from it. Every time I make a mistake, I need to adjust something. And I find out for me when I make mistakes, it's because I'm tired, or it's something that's going on in my life that I haven't adjusted or I haven't dealt with. And when I give myself that time to sit still and I realize that's what it is, then I have to give myself an opportunity to deal with it. I don't always have to like it, and it always have to feel good.
Under no conditions.
But it's fair and it's honest, and it teaches me the lessons that I need to learn every day in this world that will chew you up and spit you out and don't care about how you feel. It doesn't care how you look. It doesn't care what you think. It has no issues with what you believe. Guess what? If you don't learn how to adjust, if you don't learn how to pivot, if you don't learn how to sit still, and you don't know how to listen, guess what? You're going to continue to make these ongoing mistakes, and you're going to continue to stay in a rut, and you're going to continue to be stressed and anxiety and depression, because you're going to always start to worry about the thing that you do not have versus looking at the one thing or the two things that you do have. And I had to learn that too. And I had to learn that the hard way. How many of you guys have heard the expression, be grateful for what you have? We hear that so much. Sometimes we really don't understand what that really means. When I look at it and I think about being grateful for what I have, is I'm thankful for the lessons. I'm thankful for the mistakes. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to get up every day and get back on my feet and try it again. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to learn and to be taught. And that brings some gratitude because I don't know everything. I don't. At one time in my life, you couldn't tell me anything. I thought I knew it all. But guess what? Life got to life and it got to splitting my head open to the white meat. And I got tired of life splitting my head open to the white meat. And I had to learn some things. I had to learn some lessons the hard way. If I would have listened, if I had paid attention, if I would have learned how to pivot, if I would have learned how to adjust. And one thing I forgot to talk about, if I would have trusted the foresight, because sometimes you can foresee something and you'll still walk into it, knowing the result and what it may happen. So, I just want to come in here and I want to just let you guys know, man, if you've been struggling and life has been lifing, right? And you doing your thing, hey man, look, you always got a chance. Guess who just
Hey y'all,
going on, man?
what's going on, champ?
About today. I know you and I we had a conversation, and I thought a good topic would be learning how to adjust, pivot, listen, and learn.
Okay,
Like,
how to? Wait a minute, man. You going out? Hold on. Turn your volume up. Mine's is up.
you can't hear me?
Okay, y'all. You said how we learning how to adjust to what?
Just when life get to life in,
Oh yeah,
learning how
yeah,
to pay attention,
yeah.
having a secure network, having people in your life that's gonna tell you what you ain't don't want to hear.
Right,
Having foresight,
right.
being able to sit still.
Life is about pivoting, man. Like I've learned that. I think the older you get, the less things bother you. Not to say that they don't bother you, because you got stuff I'm sure to bother you. I got stuff. I don't think it's an age thing. I just think over time, with going through life and like having life and you get to the point where you like, you know what, this a blip in the road. I gotta get through it. I'm not gonna be here forever. I gotta look at how I can change the situation and move on and to the next thing. But when you younger, I don't know if you can relate to this, but when I was younger, man, it was the end of the world. I called my mother for everything. Any inconvenience, I went to the store, they ain't had milk. I called my mother. But as I got older and I learned to adult, got into adulting, it's like things don't bother you as much. Now you thinking to yourself, you know what, life's short. Got to deal with this. It's gonna be here today. It's gonna be here tomorrow until I can figure out how to fix it. You know what I'm saying?
Before you came on, I was talking about, um, I was so fast to be an adult, and my parents used to always tell me, "Boy, you better stay a
You
child as
better enjoy being a kid, right?
long as you can." But
Yeah,
but I wanted to stick my head out into this world and really see what it was all about. And
yeah,
earlier, I was like, if I could take it back, man, I'll go back to being a teenager
yeah, for sure,
because
for sure,
life be lifing.
man, and fast too.
It's fast, and a lot of times you don't begin to learn how to pivot and adjust and really listen to people that you value until your head gets split open to the white meat about
Yeah,
15, 20 times.
yeah, yeah.
Know what I'm saying? And I also, I touched on a lot of times, when we anxious or we going
That's
through
the
a
key
state of
word.
depression, right?
Yeah, Right.
or what we have gained.
Right.
No, and foresight is another thing, because just because I look at you and you got something that I like that you have,
Mm-hmm.
I may not be in a position or even want to go through to get what you had. You understand?
Right.
Because I don't know what it took for you to get that.
And that's the thing, man. You see people, man, and you like, oh, I wish I had that. I wish I could do this, man. Just being behind the scenes sometimes with people in your life. Like my mom is an apostle, and people, oh, they want to do this in the church, they want to do that, man. But you don't see my mother went through the last 30 years, how it cost her friendships, how it cost her relationships, in the church. You know what I'm saying? So you see that now, but you don't see what she lost either, so
And
yeah.
that's a great point. I didn't even bring up that point. When you begin to learn how to listen and pivot, and you have a healthy network that's telling you the rights versus
Mhm.
what you versus what you're not doing and what you need to do, you will
Yeah.
make friends.
Right. A
And
lot.
you know what? And you know what I just thought about? My network has changed at least 20 times.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, do you remember at what, I don't even know if we should say age. Do you remember at what different levels in your life it started to change? Of course, we know about, as kids. I'm talking about after high school. Like,
Yeah.
did it happen in your early 20s, or was there something that happened to you or change in your life that everything started to switch for you?
I can exactly tell you when my network began to change. My network went from
Mm-hmm.
not having nobody in my life to please me when I needed to be pleased.
Right. Gotcha.
I've said this on the show a lot of times. Just
Mm-hmm. Right.
you know, what kept up with you.
Right. Hang on, because you keep going in and out. I don't know if it's my phone or not, but go ahead,
So
Iceman.
sometimes when life be lifing and
That's better.
you don't adjust, you're not adjusting, you're not pivoting, you just got the blinders on. Things happen and it happened
They
fast.
do. They
It happens,
do.
happens
They do.
fast. And see,
Yeah.
I was in my late 20s when my life and my network started to really shift. And from my
Yeah.
late 20s to now, man, I've had an opportunity and I've seen people come into my life and leave.
Yeah.
And I've been okay with that. And
It,
that's really about pivoting, being able to pivot and being able to adjust when people not only don't align with you, but that you don't have the same beliefs.
I think on my end of the stick, I hung on to a lot of relationships that I didn't need to, friendships, because I was the only child. So growing up as the only child, you want a friend because it's just you. So I just, I dealt with a lot of things. And like you said, um, I noticed my life start to pivot after I had my daughter. I was 23, but it took me a long time to embrace that pivot, if that makes sense. I didn't want to let that group of friends go,
Oh,
and sometimes
it
I
is.
didn't want to see people for who they really are. And even now, 43, I still kind of deal with that. Not as bad as then, but you know, the other thing is to this conversation, when your life starts to pivot, are you gonna lean into it or you gonna pull away? You know?
That is the biggest question that many people have when their life begin to change and they have to pivot
Yeah.
and they have to make some decisions. Are they stepping into we call it the new era?
Right.
Or a lot of people say, new season, whatever you want
Right.
to call it,
Whatever you want to call it. Right.
no matter what you want to call it, are you willing to embrace it and not embrace it, right?
You're listening to
Where
Isaac and Tiana on the Under No Conditions podcast.
Right.
and blame them for you being in a position.
That you win.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep. Understood.
It's like you be in a relationship like me. I had a friend. I thought that we was just really, really close.
Mm-hmm.
Some money got between us.
Mm.
Um, other associates that was in that circle, was in that lifestyle at the time. They respected me enough to let me know what was going on, and I was hurt, and
Yeah.
I straightened out the situation, but it didn't make me
But
feel,
it never was the same after that.
and it didn't make me feel better because my belief, right, and my inability to adjust and pivot and to be able to look at it and be like, okay, if this is what it is, I need to do
Right.
this. No, my belief system and my ego wouldn't allow me to sit in it. And I went out there,
Right.
did some things, and after I did it, man, I wasn't happy about it. And I still
Yeah.
think about that today. But as we grow up and we mature, you have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to look at certain people that's in your life and be able to say, you know what, I gotta let you go.
Yeah. It's hard though. It's like what they always say is like a muscle or something that you gotta continue to work out and it over time it gets better. But I tell you, I think it's hard because when you have relationships with people like deep relationships, we're not talking about, your coworker, man, whatever, but we talking about those relationships that you've invested time in. And I think as humans, I don't even think it's an age thing or maturity thing, but as humans, if you coming up through whatever with me and you've been through this season of my life, we expect people to go into that next season. And a lot of times they don't. And it's how we deal with it. You know what I mean? It hurt. Like you said, even though you addressed it, you talked about it, you still felt some type of way about it.
But you know
So
what I
yeah.
learned, but you know what I learned about that, T? Sometimes you will grow, right? And the people around you won't grow. And they want you to
True.
stay where you are so they can
Yeah.
remain.
So they can remain the same. Oh, how about this? Because you've talked to me about this. We've had this conversation when you can have a friend and know this person for 20 years, y'all could party together, do different things together, but when you get to a different level with that person, let's just say you live with the person, it becomes a different relationship. And sometimes when you get into that, you realize we ain't really had no relationship to begin with. We partied, we drank, we did what we did. But now I'm on a different level with you in my friendship, and you realize, man, it was just based on this right here, and I'm not there anymore. So it's kind of like you don't have anything, and that's a hard part. That's hard to deal with
It was
sometimes.
based on that condition,
The condition, yeah,
condition,
we always talk about that.
and convenience. Because a lot of times we be in life situations with people because of the convenience
Yeah,
versus being in it with a person and allowing both of you guys to grow together, whether it's your girlfriend, whether it's my guy,
right,
whatever it is. Because
right.
people don't want to grow with you.
They
They
don't.
they want
It hurt though too.
they want to get with you when you made it.
When you made it, that's true. When it's convenient, like you said, when it's a condition, it's convenient.
When you start
So
going through the mud and you are experiencing failures after failures and after failures, but you still pushing through, you see the growth through the failure,
right,
but
right.
they not willing to keep
To
it
see that,
ground with
yeah, yeah,
you. And that's when the pivoting, that's when you really got to pivot. Because sometimes
yeah.
even in this process, like, you know, what we do and what we enjoy, we don't always see the results that we would like to see.
No, you don't.
We don't reach as many people as we would like to see,
Yeah,
because for us, this ain't about this about educating, providing information,
right.
hopefully,
Helping the community.
and helping the community and helping
Yeah,
somebody else.
that's
This is
generally what we want to do. You
bigger than,
know.
but unfortunately, a lot of times, even through these conversations, they're uncomfortable for I've you know I've I had a coworker that at last week, and I walked in. Matter of fact, it was downstairs. I was walking to the store. I was getting the juice. He was like, "Man, I
Mm.
see."
I did.
I didn't respond, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we at work. So I'm like, I'm real humble about it. I was like, thank you. And he forgot. I forgot the episode he was telling me about. He said, man,
Mm-hmm.
said something, man. I had to cut it off.
Yeah. Cause it hit home, right?
And
Yeah.
walked out the store, and I was like, okay. I was like, wow. He said, man, I had to.
Yeah.
He said, man, you was talking about me, and I didn't want to hear it.
Right. Right. And
Right.
that's the hardest part, man.
That's the hardest part. And once again, being able to listen, being able to pivot, being able to adjust, being able to learn, and being able to sit still. Knowing
Yeah.
those things, this is a skill. These are the skills, some of the skills that you're gonna have to learn through life situations. And guess what? A lot of times people learn them too late.
That's the issue. That's when you get what people say, you get a man baby. You get a person, not just a man, but you get a person that's grown, but they got the mentality of a child. You know what I'm saying? Because they haven't learned to adjust and learn to pivot. You know what I mean?
That's
And
right.
y'all, we not coming from the perspective of oh, you going through a problem and somebody saying, oh yeah, somebody that got something going on worse. It's always gonna be somebody that has something going on worse than we do. We not saying to minimize it, but we just saying don't stay there.
You
We're
can't.
saying don't stay there. We're saying, okay, feel whatever you're gonna feel, but then get up and learn how to pivot and adjust.
a- and adjust without the emotion.
Well, see, man, me,
Just
man, you gonna disagree, agree to this, cause
hey,
you
this
always stay on me about that.
let me tell you something. Nothing ever straightens out when you continue to make decisions or
An
adjustment.
emotion, right? Okay, you told me that. I learned that from you. You can't do it from the
If
emotions.
if I pivot and I'm still in my emotion, guess what I'm holding on to?
You right.
I'm holding on to the same thing that I pivoted from.
But let me ask you this though, because we've had that conversation, right? And you have told me that. But can you? But you don't think you could pivot and still feel some type of way, but then be willing, even though you had these feelings, to push past them and pivot and lean into that pivot? Because I mean, how do you know what I'm saying? Some certain situations, especially when it comes to family, kids, your feelings might be hurt. You know, you got to go to the left. They trying to go to the right, but you got to go to the left. But it still don't nullify that your feelings still hurt though. But I do, like you told me, you can't make decisions out of your emotions. I agree with that.
You're gonna have feelings, but the one thing I remind myself when I get in that place, Isaac, are they facts?
Okay. We talked about that. Yeah. You
Is
pissed me off one day when you said that. Is it facts?
is it
You right.
facts?
You right.
Is it something that I always knew I needed to let go of, and I'm just
Mm,
you to make the decision to hold on to it. And if it's something that I know I need to let go of, and I let go of it, am I telling you that you're not gonna? It's not gonna be emotionally. That's not what I'm saying.
gotcha. Okay.
What I'm saying,
Understood.
what I'm saying is that may be a placeholder, and it's going to be temporary,
Okay. I can deal with that.
right?
Okay. That
Because
makes sense.
when life is lifing, and you have people in your life that can tell you the truth and guide you through that process, guess what? Letting go becomes much more easier
It
because
does.
then at that point it becomes part of the reality,
That's in reality is fact.
right? Reality
Right.
is
Okay. I got that.
reality is like, man, I know she don't treat me good. I don't know he don't treat me good. He he's very disrespectful. She's very disrespectful. I love him. I love her. But you know what? I know they ain't good for me.
Right.
I gotta go.
I gotta keep it moving.
I gotta
Right.
go. And I
Yeah.
and no matter. Let me ask you something. Have you had a conversation with a partner or a companion, and you've had multiple conversations with an individual, and they say they're gonna do something or they're gonna
And
change
they don't do it.
something,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the change is they change for 3 days,
Yeah,
change for a week
I've been there.
or 30
Yeah,
days, and then they back to
they back to it, right?
right.
Because it's not. It wasn't a hard thing. It was not a genuine thing. It's just because you getting on me. I'm tired of hearing your mouth. So I'm gonna switch up, give you maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'm back to being who I am. So
And,
yeah.
and you know what? And it keeps the space. It keeps the space.
Hmm.
Cause you're like, oh, they changing.
Yeah, right, right.
They ain't changing. They just
Bobo, my little Mike ain't changed.
little Mike just want to
He
keep
just
that.
bought you a Coach bag.
Yeah, that's it. Ha ha. Boy, he just
Mike
spent
bought little
just
Mike bought you a little Coach bag from the outlet.
3,500. You feeling good? He love me. He
He done paid for help pay with the rent.
yeah, I'm special, but he done bought that bag. Now I can't pay the rent.
Right?
Like,
Is that
oh, man. Hey man,
Mike? How you buy me a bag now? You
Under no
can't. You ain't got your part of the
conditions.
rent.
man, bought this $3,500 bag.
Right,
Man,
right.
try to be like, man up.
Now the water off. Now the water off. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, real life stuff.
Right. Exactly.
It's happening to somebody right now.
Yeah, it is. It
Hey,
definitely is.
somebody
Somebody on
going through
vacation right
something.
now coming back to no water.
That's it.
Yeah.
Dude.
Right.
Or they got half the rent and they picking up the phone. They call us somebody that's gonna tell them no. And then
Yeah.
they mad because guess what? They was told no.
Right. Because you failed to pivot. Long story, you failed to pivot. Right.
You failed to adjust. You failed
Yep.
to put life's priorities in its proper place.
Right.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
So, hey man, sometimes I always say no is necessary because yes.
Because yes, it's expensive. Right. Facts. That was good, Ice Man.
Hey, so hey, you know what? Man, for you guys who are struggling with life on life terms,
Yeah.
looking at it as a struggle and look at it as growth. Look at it as a life lesson that you can grow from and you can learn from. And don't be mad at the people that's in your life. Look at the people in your life as part of your growth process. And pay
Exactly.
attention. Because
A-
if you pay attention to, they're gonna teach you a lot.
Absolutely. And remember this too. When you don't learn the lesson, it keeps repeating itself. Cause I can't challenge you with something that doesn't bother you anymore. So if it still bothers you, or you still like to indulge in it, or you still like to ignore the signs, it's gonna keep repeating itself. Whether it's with Mike, whether it's with Keith, or Black, it don't matter. It's gonna repeat itself because you still haven't learned the lesson yet.
No,
So
it don't
yeah,
even matter, man, because
yeah,
sometimes when you have people in your life, once again, they don't want to pivot or just learn or to listen, and they don't want you to do neither.
right. Because it holds them to a different standard.
Right
And
now,
some people ain't ready to do that.
look, they don't have the emotional capacity. They don't
Right.
know it all, and they say they grown, but they
Man,
have
everybody out here grown.
they had a mentality of a 12-year-old.
Right. Temper tantrums, upset, shut down, so a lot of different things. Yeah.
Exactly. Man, you came on. You did good tonight, T. Man.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for holding it down for me. I had to go to the store to get the dog some stuff and a couple of things and some food. Why you look like that's my new baby, y'all? I got a new what you call it, emotional support animal.
Hey, man, she got it. I'm happy for her. Like I ain't gonna joke about it, but
Is he in the cage? Oh, okay. I would tell him to come in. I'm gonna show you after we get off now, but I'm gonna bring him on next time, y'all. Next Tuesday.
she got somebody else to vent to. Because when she called Iceman don't want to hear
I,
it.
yeah, because you don't want to hear nothing. Every time I call you to vent, you don't want to hear it. You doing it's dead silence on the phone, and then you say, "Okay, you done? All right, I'm gonna call you back."
I'm gonna call you back. And then I call her back. It'd be 9 days before she answered the phone.
I be pissed. I be my feelings,
You be,
but I
say,
but
say it again.
but I know how to pivot too now.
Say it
You
again.
know what
You
I'm
be what?
saying? I know how to pivot now.
Now, before you said that, you said you be in your what?
I be in my feelings.
Fellas.
Yeah. I be in my feelings. I'm very sensitive. A lot of people don't know that, but I'm very sensitive. But I mean only because I can trust certain people, and you definitely one of those people that I can trust. But you don't care. And see, that's why we call you Iceman, because you don't care what we say.
And, it's a great thing that you are sensitive. Because you do care.
I do a
Care,
lot.
and you love hard. And I tell this about me. I wear my feelings on my sleeves, man.
Hmm.
And if I call you a friend, I mean it.
Yeah,
It ain't no
for
condition,
sure.
you know. Um,
Right.
but just don't tell me you love me.
Hold on, wait a minute. How you do it? Is it this way? Okay.
For you guys that just been tuning in and out, man.
I just got it after
Well,
about 4 years.
I want to welcome you to another edition of the Under No
The
Conditions
Under No Conditions
podcast.
podcast.
Myself, Isaac the Iceman, Tiana, Church Lady. Hey, once again, we here Tuesday,
Yes, we are.
7 o'clock. You can catch us on Facebook. You can catch us on
You
YouTube.
too.
Drop us an email. I podcast
Yes.
mail.com. And if ain't nobody tell you they love you today, we here under no conditions. We love you guys.
We love you. Peace.
Yeah, it's Isaac. It's Tiana. We bringing truth in the mix where the real stories sit. Under no conditions. You know how we do. Feel that beat, let it pull you through.
Yo, we sitting here, mic in hand, talking about life. We got a plan from heartbreaks to laughter, real and uncut. Every conversation straight from the gut. Isaac bringing wisdom with a flair of the wise. Tiana with the humor, watch the truth arise. Pull up a chair, let's get real close. In this podcast, we bringing you the most.